Welcome back to the Hope with Jonathan podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan E. Traylor. Hey guys, welcome back to the Hope with Jonathan podcast. I hope you guys are doing well. Hey guys, the whole month of March has been National Kidney Month, and we have celebrated, we have advocated, and we have educated all about chronic kidney disease, dialysis, transplant, kidney failure, and much, much more. Hey guys, this is a subject that is near and dear to my heart because back in July of 2019, it nearly took my life. And CKD has been something that has been passionate for me for the last 5 to 6 years of my life. Due to the fact of the near-death episode that I had with chronic kidney disease and kidney failure. For those of you out there that don't know, I showed up at the local ER here in Texas with all kind of different symptoms that I should have recognized that were chronic kidney disease and kidney failure symptoms. Swollen ankles, swollen legs, could not hardly breathe. I was exercising, wasn't losing any weight. I was actually putting on fluid. I was always nauseous. My personality and my attitude had completely been altered and changed. And when I walked into that ER, actually showed up on a gurney, I knew that something incredible had happened to me, and that I was forever going to be changed, and that my life journey had been altered. And it was something that was greater than what was, going on normally in my life. And that just so happened to be chronic kidney disease. And I am a statistic, guys. I am. I was at the time. I was hypertensive, which I had high blood pressure, and I had diabetes, type 2 diabetes. I was also morbidly obese, over 300 pounds. So at that time of my life, I was just eating and working and going along with life. I had always been sort of a big, strong guy, able to do and come and go as I wanted, and didn't really have an exercise plan, didn't really have a plan of action as far as medical care. Doctors, nurses, they all gave me white coat syndrome, so it always caused me anxiety to even go see a doctor. That lifestyle landed me flat on my back in an ER on July 8th of 2019. It was sort of a scene out of your favorite medical sitcom, ER, Grey's Anatomy. So those are some examples. I did end up in a helicopter. I got shipped down to San Antonio. My local hospital did not have a dialysis ward, so they knew I needed emergency dialysis to save my life. They ultimately ended up giving me a real low chance of survival. I did not know that whenever I loaded up in the helicopter, but my mom later on got told by a nurse that they didn't expect me to make it in the next 20 to 30 minutes. During that episode, I had lots of thoughts, a lot of things that were going on in my head, but one thing that kept reoccurring in my head was that I kept hearing this voice that I was going to make it and that I was going to be okay. And I kept telling the nurses and the doctors that God's telling me I'm going to make it. I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to walk out of here. With that being said, I ultimately landed in San Antonio. As soon as the gurney hit the door, I still remember to this day the ER physician there, the emergency room physician, he says, "You better grab the crash cart." And boom, lights go out, I black out, and I woke up 3 days later on a huge dialysis machine. I was intubated. I had wires, cables, hoses. My hands were tied to the bed. They said that I had, during my time of laying there, I had been trying to pull the cables out, pull the hoses out, pull the wires out. And so they had to, restrain my hands. Um, and it was scary. Um, During that time on that dialysis machine, they had actually taken off about 30 pounds of fluid off of my body. Um, I woke up with my family surrounded around me. Uh, Very scary time in my life, and definitely a huge wake up call, if there ever is one. Um, but listen, guys, this story is has been told many times, and it's very exciting to be able to survive that and walk out of the hospital 2 weeks later. It's a huge blessing. I'm very grateful. I don't tell my story as a way of getting people to feel sorry for me in no way, shape, or form. I'm sharing this story of survival to help encourage someone out there that may be facing the same story, same situation, same journey as me. Especially here in the month of March, I wanted to take an opportunity to kind of share with you guys quickly on this podcast. I haven't podcasted in quite a while, so this was definitely motivating to be able to come back on here and actually share my story with you guys one more time. And for those of you out there that haven't heard my story, you can always refer back to different videos that are on YouTube. I have podcasts on there as well that I've talked about my story. But needless to say, I walked out of the hospital after a 2 week crash course of education on CKD, dialysis, transplant, the whole nine. And prior to that, I had no education, no background on CKD. I had no information on dialysis. I didn't even know what a dialysis machine was. I had no idea. I didn't know what I was about to embark on, but man, has it been a journey. Um, so here I am, almost 5 years later, because in 2020, I actually received the gift of life of transplant. And there's a whole lot of different aspects about my story that I'm leaving out just because I want to give you guys um, just just kind of a quick glimpse of what my story truly is. It is a story of survival. Um, but after being on dialysis a short amount of time, 14 months in total, I did about 10 or 11 months in center. Then I chose to switch to HHD, which was home hemodialysis, with my beautiful wife Melissa as my caretaker, care partner. We chose to do HHD at home. COVID had just came on the scene. There was a lot of aspects about in-center dialysis with the scheduling. I was stuck on TTS, which was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I no longer wanted to do that schedule. Felt like I was imprisoned. Felt like I was kind of incarcerated. And I got sick of it. And I said, listen, I'm going to, I want to be able to have my own schedule. And if I'm going to do dialysis, I'm going to do it on my own schedule. So we switched to HHD. With doing that, that was incredible. My numbers got a lot better as far as, my kidney numbers, my blood draws, all that stuff got better. My dialysis treatments were better. And I was starting to feel a lot better. I was able to exercise. I was able to move around. I did whatever I want. I pretty much I stayed with the renal diet, but I could kind of eat a little bit more if I wanted. I could eat a little bit off the menu as far as the diet was concerned, and I could actually drink a little bit more. But I was still very mindful of what I did while I was on HHD. And then in August of 2020, I received a call from Louisville, Kentucky, which is my hometown. Um, a friend of the family had actually passed away, and his sister actually called me and offered me uh, her brother's kidney, which was incredible. And, it was definitely a bittersweet situation. Uh, Getting that phone call was, not what I expected, and definitely was a huge, not only surprise, but like I said, it was very bittersweet. Because I had no clue that her brother was passing away. But this is the power, guys, of direct donation. For those of you out there that may be hanging on the fence of signing to be a donor, um, by him signing the back of his driver's license, he was able to donate to me. And although his body and his organs were in the state of Kentucky, they were actually able to ship his organ all the way here to San Antonio, Texas, which was huge for me. The wait time here for a deceased donor is 6 to 8 years. At least that's at the time. That's what I was being told in 2020. So, guys, listen. Almost 5 years later, and there's lots of things about my story that I'd love to share with you guys, but I want to keep it brief, and I do not want to overextend myself on this podcast because believe me, I could tell you the whole story. But what I'm trying to encourage you guys is to listen to my story and listen to some of the statistics that I'm going to share with you guys that led me to the journey that I've been on for the last 5, 6 years. And some of the statistics that a lot of people don't know, and a lot of people don't even realize, um, I'm going to share with you regarding CKD, dialysis, um, and the statistics of how to get there. Okay, there's many different paths, to get there. There's different diseases that can cause it, but right now, guys, the leading causes of CKD are diabetes and high blood pressure. Those are the leading causes of kidney failure and CKD. So, um, diabetes. Let's talk about that. So, if you're diabetic and you're not trying to control your sugars very well, or maybe your sugars are always high, maybe your blood pressure is not very well controlled, maybe your blood pressure is always high, you are damaging your kidneys. And I mean, there's no nice way for me to put that other than you are definitely damaging your kidneys. Um, so definitely keep that in mind. If you're diabetic, if you're on blood pressure medication, you definitely are going to need to go get checked for chronic kidney disease. And if your doctor is not recommending that, or if your doctor is not doing that, you definitely need to ask for a kidney health check. Definitely ask them to do a blood sample. Definitely ask them to do urine as well. And make sure that there are no signs of chronic kidney disease because it is a progressive disease. And, it can, before you know it, I mean, most people find out they're already at stage 3 and there's only 5 stages of kidney disease before you're going to need dialysis or transplant. So, globally, guys, CKD affects literally over 10% of the population. Um, Nearly 800 individuals have CKD. In the US, 1 in 7 people have CKD. This is in the US alone. There's as many as 9 in 10 adults. So 9 in 10 adults are literally walking around with chronic kidney disease and are unaware that they have it. So you got to imagine the statistics that I'm sharing with you. 10% of the world's population, over 800 million individuals, are walking around with some form of CKD. 1 in 7, around 37 million Americans are walking around with CKD. Okay, so I gave you a world uh, statistic, and now I'm giving you the United States statistics. So 1 in 7, guys, and then 1 in 9. So, or nine in 10. So 9 out of 10 of those individuals are walking around with CKD and have no idea. They're just unaware. Because there are a lot of times that CKD has no symptoms at all. And in other times, in other cases, there's a whole plethora of symptoms and signs. But because we're not educated enough on CKD, a lot of times we ignore it and think it's something else. This is why it's important for us to definitely get our kidneys checked out. Like I said, guys, diabetes and hypertension. How many people out there know a family member, a friend, anybody out there that probably has diabetes or hypertension, high blood pressure? There are so many people that have it. So at this point, these are the leading causes of chronic kidney disease and kidney failure, guys. So you got to get checked. That's just all there is to it. You've got to get checked. So about 1 in 3 adults with diabetes and 1 in 5 adults with high blood pressure have some form of kidney disease. Okay? So 1 in 3 with diabetes and 1 in 5 with high blood pressure. So these statistics are staggering. So you got 9 in 10 walking around, 9 out of 10 walking around with chronic kidney disease and unaware. And then diabetes is the leading cause and high blood pressure is the leading cause. But then you've got 1 in 3 adults with diabetes. So 1 in 3 people with diabetes and 1 in 5 people with high blood pressure have chronic kidney disease. These statistics are mind-blowing. CKD is most common in older individuals, with most cases found in age 65 years and older. So a lot of patients are 65 years and older. And it is true that as you age, your kidney function definitely slows down. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to end up facing dialysis, but the older you get, the slower your body is going to start functioning, and your kidneys are definitely going to slow down. Guys, there are certain racial and ethnic backgrounds and groups that chronic kidney disease affects more, especially in the African American, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans are at a higher risk to develop chronic kidney disease. This is just statistics that I'm sharing with you guys. It's not up for discussion and it's not up for debate. These are the facts. Chronic kidney disease definitely affects people of ethnic background and groups such as African American, Hispanic Americans, and Native Americans. They are at a higher risk of developing chronic kidney disease. Again, guys, these statistics to me, as I'm reading these, are incredibly mind-blowing. Kidney disease, guys, is the 9th leading cause of death in the United States. I'm going to say it again. Kidney disease is the 9th leading cause of death in the United States. About 360 individuals begin treatment for kidney failure, dialysis, or kidney transplant every day in the United States. Around 360 people every day get ready for dialysis or transplant. CKD is a silent killer, often with no signs or symptoms. And like I said, most people, when they ever go get blood work or they do notice that there's something going on with their body, they find out that they are already at stage 3 and there's only 5 stages before you either got to get on dialysis or need a transplant to live. I'm sharing these statistics with you today that I know a lot of people, especially men, who procrastinate with their health, and they decide that there are other things going on in their life that are more important than going to the doctor. And it could be the fact that you're just like me, that it caused you anxiety, it caused you fear, it caused you to become emotional, and you just didn't like the way that made you feel. But guys, listen, I'm trying to implore you, I'm trying to talk to you, I'm trying to reach you, and I want you to hear me out. It's imperative that if you know that there is something going on and there's something that is wrong with your body, that it is imperative for you to make an appointment and go get the simple blood test. Go do the urinalysis. Your doctors are there to help you. They're not there to hurt you. The testing are needed. They are important. Yeah, they're going to stick you with a needle. Yeah, it's out of your way. Maybe you got to drive 20 miles to go see a doctor. Maybe you got to, whatever you got to do. You don't have any insurance. And that was part of my story too. I had many jobs out there that I took that I didn't have any insurance. I didn't have any money. And I was dead broke at times that I just could not. I had to decide whether or not we were going to keep the lights on or was I going to go to the doctor. And I understand that. But you know what? Go to your local ER. They should not refuse you if you tell them that you don't feel well and then you just know that there's something wrong, you feel sick. Have them run some blood work. Because of an act of, I believe it was 1972, if you do find out that you require dialysis, you are automatically covered. You should be automatically covered by the act of 1972. It's a dialysis act that once you are fully dependent upon dialysis, then you should be covered by Medicaid or Medicare. It's Medicare. You have to kind of forgive me there because I get mixed up sometimes. Medicaid, Medicare, private insurance. It's all very confusing. But I do know that Medicaid is state. I know that Medicare is federal. And then if you pay out of pocket for private insurance, then that's how it works. But there is no excuse to procrastinate or delay, especially if you know something's wrong with you. Go to the doctor. You got family, you got friends, you got people out there that care about you. You definitely want to go to the doctor, get checked out for chronic kidney disease. In no way, shape, or form am I trying to be mean to anybody. I'm not trying to be nasty to nobody. I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm just giving you my heart here on this podcast. I'm begging you, go get checked out for chronic kidney disease. If you do not feel well, if you have foamy urine, if you have a urinary tract infection all the time, you got blood in your urine, you're not peeing. You're not going to the bathroom. You notice swelling. You need to go to the doctor. You've got to find out what's going on because probably 9 times out of 10, like I said, you probably got CKD. I already told you about a statistic on there. 9 out of 10 patients are walking around with chronic kidney disease and are unaware of it, which is a very scary statistic. 1 in 3 diabetics and 1 in 5 hypertensive have kidney disease. But guys, I'm just sharing the facts on this, and I know that this podcast is all about Hope with Jonathan, but this is how I ended up getting where I'm at in 2019. I ignored the signs. I ignored the symptoms. Yes, I wasn't very well educated, but I'm telling you guys on this podcast, I'm giving you guys the facts. I'm giving you guys the education on this podcast to understand that if you've got signs and symptoms of anything that I've talked about, then you definitely need to know that you got to go to the doctor. But hey guys, I wanted to share with you guys really quickly that soon in August the 11th, I will be sharing and celebrating my 5-year kidney anniversary. And I'm very excited about this. Just recently, guys, I had the birth of my grandson. He's 5 weeks old, and it's been very, very exciting to know that, it's hard to see whenever you're in a dialysis chair. It's hard to imagine when you're fighting a chronic illness like chronic kidney disease, kidney failure. You're laying in a hospital bed. You're sitting in a hospital chair or dialysis unit, and it's hard to imagine progressing and the future and imagining, if I'm going to see my daughter get married, or if I'm going to see my grandchildren, or if I'm going to, be able to go back to work and have a career. And, you have a lot of different thoughts while you're sitting in the chair. You have a lot of different thoughts when you're talking to doctors and diagnoses are being handed out, and you're hearing things for the first time that you have no idea what they are, what's going on, and it is life altering. But guys, one thing that I did not give up on was hope. And had I given up on hope, had I given up on the thought that good things could happen to me, I would have never made it through the hospital. Whenever I showed up in the helicopter, I would have never made it through dialysis. I would have never made it through in-center dialysis when I had a couple of times when I crashed, because my blood pressure would just tank all the time in there. I had an emergency in there one time that they thought they were going to have to call 911 because I blacked out in there, because they just pulled too much fluid off of me. Had I given up on hope that I would get a transplant, had I given up on hope, I'm now back working. I'm now providing again. I'm a grandfather now. I'm experiencing things that I didn't know if I was going to make it, but I did. And the reason why is because I never gave up on the thought that good things could happen to me. And I never gave up on hope, guys. And even though we're coming to the end of the month of March, I want to let you guys know that just because the month of March is ending and National Kidney Month is ending, that does not mean that our journey and our battle ends, because we battle this disease every day. Do I have bumps in the road with transplant? Absolutely. There have been things that I've had to deal with, but I'm not going to share that. I'm not going to go into details today. We do know that kidney transplant is not a cure, but for me, it's been a great form of treatment. Better than HHD, absolutely. But I want to say this. I want to say to all the warriors out there who are in this fight and who fight this battle every day, I want to encourage you to continue to fight. Fight, 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 fight. And I want you guys to know to continue to believe that good things can happen to you. And know that there are other warriors out here who are fighting this battle with you. And that you're never alone. God bless you guys. I'm Jonathan Traylor, the host of Hope with Jonathan. Look for us, guys, for good things to come in 2025. I'm not sure if we're going to continue to do live podcasts, but I think we're going to Definitely try to get some people on some audio podcasting. Look for us, guys. Continue to grow in 2025 and try to revamp this podcast. I've been really longing to try to get the podcast going again. And I feel like it's a great tool, and I feel like it's a great way to share your story, because there's power in sharing your story, especially when you're trying to encourage others. But God bless you guys. I'm Jonathan Traylor, host of Hope with Jonathan. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day, and thank you for listening to the podcast. And guys, listen, if you're not already following us, go over to hwjpodcast.com and follow us across all of our social media. And we definitely appreciate your support. God bless.